Hello, friends. I have incredibly good news for you today from the front lines of the information war. Bilderberg 2010 is a rout. It is a collapse of their resolve. This is one of the main organizations pushing and developing world government. They've been meeting since 1954 officially. It's a merger of the European power elite and the Anglo-American establishment from the United States and England. And we're just getting good news from all sides. Jim Tucker, who's a veteran news reporter, and he is as accurate and as trustworthy as a good wristwatch, has inside sources in Bilderberg from his 3+ decades of covering it. And he also has other ways of getting there before they meet and talking to people that work in the hotel who always refuse to give him intel. And then the Bilderberg group doesn't allow them to look him in the eyes and is very mean to them. And so the people then always call him afterwards and spill their guts and pick up minutes and documents. And Tucker snuck in and stole documents before and been arrested for it and even shot at. So he has the sources, and I've never seen him be wrong. And he said that they are completely dejected, that they are collapsing, that they're not even sure they can get their world government now. I interviewed him on the radio today, and he said basically that Bilderberg's quote was that they may have, basically been defeated on their climate change global tax, their carbon tax that has nothing to do with the environment, everything to do with micromanaging your life and taxing every facet of it. And then he confirmed what Charlie Skelton of the London Guardian, one of their reporters, has written about in the pages of that prestigious paper. Mr. Skelton checked in with his wife. He's from England. They're in Spain, in the resort outside Barcelona. And the night before they shut the resort down and kick everybody out, there's already Bilderberg group people crawling all over the place with their badges. And I've infiltrated it a few times myself in Canada and the U.S. I know this to be true. And he identified the head minions of the entire Bilderberg club there at a table. And he and his wife were sitting right next to him talking about, oh, my God, it's so horrible. Alex Jones is so scary. I hope he isn't going to be here. They bullhorned us very close in 2006 in Canada. And the other senior member of the staff for Bilderberg said, oh, my God, did they attack? And they said, no, but it was quite frightening. You could hear him. It was terrible. Oh, my God, I hope they don't attack this time. And that a lot of Bilderberg group members, for the first time in history, are not even attending because they're so scared. And 2 years ago in Chantilly, Virginia, and there were photos taken of this, Madeleine Albright came in her Volvo, rushed in, got scared because of the bullhorning, because people recognized her pulling in, and then she turned around and left, panicked. So they're so guilty in their behavior. The Bible says the wicked fleeth when none pursueth. This is exciting. Tucker's getting that intel. Charlie Skelton got the same intel. Now there's some bad news though. The good news is they built the euro to be the example of world government. It's in deep trouble. The banks have been so greedy selling derivatives, and that's the main funding mechanism of the Bilderberg group, that it now endangers their whole system. They are very upset. They say their world government may be falling apart, but their only hope is war as a political distraction and diversion and as a way to make large profits. And this comes directly from inside the Bilderberg Group meeting going on right now. It ends tomorrow. They are now, for the first time, leaning towards an attack on Iran sooner rather than later, including a possible nuclear strike by Israel backed up by the United States. And the fact that they're not 100% decided, but they're very close, the closest they've been. And, of course, Tucker said in 2002, he said, Mr. Graham that owns the Washington Post, he's in attendance. The Washington Post is lying. They're not going to war this spring or summer, as the Washington Post was saying they would in 2002. Tucker said a year before, it will be in March of next year, 2003. And he said they're going to stage the Berlin Wall collapse. I mean, the list goes on and on. Gas will be $150 a barrel next year. Everybody laughed at him. It was $65. That happened. I mean, he's got the sources, 30+ years covering it. And so the fact that they're talking about attacking Iran and saying that the majority of them lean towards it and that they're going to go ahead and green light it is incredible. So it looks like the attack on Iran is 90+% confirmed, the closest it's ever been. And this, many analysts agree this could start World War III between China, Russia, and the United States. So just incredibly dangerous news, because the cornered globalists have to sell the world on accepting their new global constitution run by the IMF and World Bank, carbon taxes paid to the private banks, a VAT global financial tax paid to them. That's all now been publicly proposed. And so the Bilderberg Group for decades tried to build global government by stealth and then publicly would deny they were setting up a world government. They lost a lot of credibility as their documents came out. And so now they're just going, okay, we're setting up a world government, but it's for your own good. So we've come so far. We're now actually identifying the actual power elite. And instead of just being distracted by prime ministers and puppet presidents, and the left and the right, the Tories and Labor, the Republicans, the Democrats, the people for the first time, and I've been saying this for 2 years, globally are having a mass awakening that's now become the majority. A lot of them aren't very sophisticated, but they understand there's a corrupt elite and that politicians are puppets and parties come and go and share power, but the elites stay in control. That for the first time in history, there is a true global awakening against world government. And that dovetails with the speech to the CFR in Canada, one of the big globalist think tanks that carries out the Bilderberg Group agenda. When Zbigniew Brzezinski, to paraphrase his 7-minute speech, and we'll link it here at the bottom of the video so you can watch the whole thing, he said, for the first time ever, the whole world's awake to the political system, the true political system, and our world government isn't fully completed yet, and it's in deep trouble, and we may not get it. And boy, the CFR looked dejected. And some said, well, that's just them playing possum. Well, are they playing possum inside the Bilderberg Group? I mean, I've got this from Tucker, 30-plus years covering it. I've got it from a London Guardian reporter who was there and eavesdropped and heard all this before he and his wife were thrown out. No, they're scared. And they understand the world is waking up to them. The only way you can carry out a criminal operation of this magnitude is by having the public in the dark. As David Rockefeller decades ago, thanked the New York Times and the mainstream media and said we couldn't have gotten this far with our world government if you would have, subjected it to the bright lights of publicity. Thank you. But now the public is getting their news from Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, and the Drudge Report every week or two is linking to our stories like they did today. Time is running out for these people. The alternative media has credibility, and the globalists are in a lot of trouble. So understand this. Now is the time to reach out to people you know. Now is the time to wake up everyone you know. Now is the time, because people may not have listened to you a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago or a decade ago. They're ready to listen now. They're ready to be awakened. And I want to encourage all of you to get a copy of Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, my film about global government and eugenics and the Bilderberg Group, and to make copies of it and to give it to everyone you know, to get Invisible Empire, our latest documentary about the world government, and show people so they can have a real understanding of the geopolitical system that we're living in. Because if we have a real choice, if the people know what's happening, they will choose to not be slaves. So Bilderberg is running scared. They are terrified of the people of the planet. They realize that exponentially people are waking up and that time is running out for their shadow corporate global tyranny that operates by stealth. But that, again, makes them even more dangerous. That's why we're seeing calls to shut down the internet, to restrict free speech, to go after the Second Amendment. That's why we're seeing all these calls for, arresting citizens with no warrants or no trials and disappearing into black holes, because the establishment is going to try to maintain control by an iron grip now. So the good news is they know they're not invincible. They know we're waking up. The bad news is the empire is going to strike back. So it's important for everybody, again, to put out their maximum effort to expose the New World Order right now, because they plan to implode the global economy as a pretext to bring in their hegemony with their financial SDRs as the new global currency. Instead, it is unmasking them, and they are scared to death. So I want to commend all of you that have gotten the word out over the years, and my great crew and everybody at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We'll cover more of this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. on my Sunday syndicated show, and back on Monday, 11 to 3 Central. God bless you all.